You are now listening to Out of the Blank.
Welcome to another episode of Out of the Blank podcast. I'm here with Daniel Cragg.
How you going?
Daniel, tell me a little bit about yourself and what do you do professionally?
Professionally, well, I'm 32 years. Oh, I'm almost 32. I'm 31 at the moment, but yeah, just Australian guy. I live near Sydney, Australia, and like I'm just on the verge of becoming a registered nurse. So I've been a student for quite a while, and yeah, I'm just on the brink. I'm just waiting for the registration to go through, and then that'll be my new career. So
Wait, you're from
yeah,
Australia?
yes,
And I always
that's right, mate.
gotta bring up the question, why do you drive on the wrong side of the road?
Oh, hey, Heather, I know you're not on the wrong side.
Always the same response. I love it. But what about nursing? Like, how'd you get started into it? And what part of the department are you working for? Are we talking about emergency trauma? Are we talking about just a registered practitioner nurse?
I'm not even in a hospital yet. I'm literally like student. Like I've just finished my couple years of placement study, that sort of thing. So I'm just getting to the point where I'll be applying for a job in a hospital. So
Oh, well,
then it's open game. I just try to get in wherever I can. Really, start. I've just got an open goal, like anywhere I can get in, any section in the hospital I can get in, and then just work my way up to something I prefer over time.
how'd you decide you wanted to become a nurse, though? It seems like, I mean, at least the main option, I don't think a lot of people choose. Like, I've talked to a few of my friends who are nurses. It's always seen as like a female position. But
Yeah,
surprisingly, I think it's
nurse.
I really like that in society today we can have it as a male position as well. Sometimes they're the funniest and the nicest too.
Yeah, I don't know. It was basically like I was bricklaying for about 6 years, and that was I had that as a trade, and I was fully registered as that. So I did that for a couple of years, and then I don't know. I kind of got sick of that. I was getting a bit bored of it, and I just moved on. And then basically, like literally, as I was about to jump out of that job, there was a nursing, like the university was starting the time of year is when they start enrolling for the course, and I applied for that, and I managed to actually get in. I had to do a little bridging course thing, but yeah, I went straight into that and managed to get in, and then just continued that for a couple years.
Yeah, do you still have the hands of a bricklayer?
No.
Thank God, because you can't have hands like that working as a nurse, man. I don't want anybody with rough hands touching my body. I don't even like people touching me. Like he comes onto that Reiki energy stuff, I get a little bit freaked out. But it's funny because I have the option to choose my doctor, and I was actually picking out the other day, and I was looking, and
They all came in as a selection.
well, they gave me a paper like, "This is what you got to choose from for your doctors here." I was like, "Oh," and I was like looking at all of them. Most of them were women, and for guys, that's seen as a thing. Like, I'd rather have a woman look at me. I'm like, "Nah, let me change it up. Let me get a dude." And then like the woman
Yeah.
looked at me. He's like, "You want a male doctor?" I was like, "Yeah, because I mean, he's gonna know what's going on, and it plus all these women that you're showing me, they have very serious looks on their faces, like what I would call bitch face." Where it just looks like they have something to complain about.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I
Were
don't
you
want
asking
that."
them to feel their hands or something?
I
Is that how
literally
you were
was like
testing them?
I literally asked the woman, I was like, "Do they who has the gentlest touch?" And she laughed and looked at me and she goes, "Oh, that would be Dr. Jordan." And I'm like, "All right, well, what's Dr. Jordan? He's at the bottom here. He looks younger than all the rest of them." I was like, "What's he about?" And he goes, "Oh, he used to be a registered nurse." I was like, "All right, I'll take this guy." And she was like, "Any preferable reason?" I was like, "He has an opening face. If you look at everyone in here, it looks like someone just told them that their parents had died in a car accident. Everyone's very, very serious. Everyone's like, I got to be professional." This guy is smiling. She goes, "Oh yeah, he wore a taco suit to our Halloween party, and on Christmas he dressed up as Santa Claus." It's like, that's the guy I want, man. If he's bringing gifts and I'm naked, I got to get something out of it. Come on now.
Yeah, you're choosing Patch Adams.
Yeah, see,
Uh,
I like what you were saying earlier about not saying anything that's gonna, I'm gonna have to edit out because you don't want to discriminate yourself. I was like, I just said that I would take any presents if I was naked. So,
yeah, I know. I'm holding back. I don't know what you. I have a lot of comments, but I was like, I don't understand. I feel like you're like, oh, they've got bitching face, like bitch face, or whatever like that. And I'm thinking like the way you're asking them sounds like it's like you're like, I want you to have a soft touch with me, and they're like, why you got your clothes off? Like,
It was mainly to like I was just trying to like create small chat because that you need that small like chat and conversation, especially when you're in a doctor's office. And I could tell she was not ready for anything I was saying. She was looking at me like laughing, like, "What? Like you're the first person that comes in here and starts cracking jokes." I'm like, "Yeah, we're in a fucking hospital. Everybody's serious all the time." I'm like, "Let's just create a happy environment." Like when I go in to get like, I went in sadly on my birthday to the emergency room.
happy birthday.
Thank you. The worst part about it was it has my birth date on the wristband, so it also says like your admission day as well. So it was right under my birth date, and they're like, "Oh, this is your oh, happy birthday." I'm like, "Hey, let's get me out of here. That'd be awesome." Yeah, great.
Give you a little birthday cake in a bedpan or something.
That would have been amazing, but instead they gave me a bunch of like this medicine that you got to take for an X-ray. It was terrible.
Uh, yeah, is that to like clear you out or something, or just so they can see what's going on?
Looking for, I guess, yeah, it helps them illuminate stuff too. So if I do have to kind of like take it off onto this though, those hospital waiting rooms, like if you're going to be a nurse, you got to have a good, very, very good sense of communication with people. Like just being able to joke around and first of all, create a friendly environment. Like when I was in there in the emergency room or whatever, there's a woman that came in and she was, you want to talk about bitch face. This woman, I
She
have
had the whole body.
I had an IV in my arm, and she was scaring the living shit out of me. And then she's like, "You got to stop moving." I'm like, "You're scaring me because you're holding the needle as well, and you look like you want to stab me in the neck."
I got my shakes back.
Exactly. Like, oh, I missed. Oh, went right into your kidney. But it's like you want to have that open kind of vibe about you too. Like it takes a special person to be a nurse. Would you say like that's kind of
Yeah, I'm pretty personable with them. Like on the placements, is like we have like a certain amount of weeks each semester in the university where you like have to go. It's free. It sucks. You don't get paid, but it's like that's your training to build you up for when you are an actual nurse. And you go there, and it's like it's easier to get a bond with someone because you can come in and you're like, "Hey, Mister Blah blah, we're gonna look after you today. We're gonna do this." So I'd be like, "Oh, I got to give you this," and if you can do it jokingly, they're a lot more like, "Oh, good, someone treated me like a human today. It's nice." Compared to like you come in and like, "Okay, we're like the people like will look at the chart and talk about them or whatever, but like talk about them, not to them or involve them," and that's always like I think is like I don't really know from the patient side, but I feel like no one wants to be just treated like, "Oh, you're a number on the board," compared to like you come in and go, "Hey, how you going?" That sort of stuff, and they like a small little interaction could be like such a difference to them. I think.
Well, this year alone, we're supposed to have the most or most people out of the medical practice in general when it comes to just staff at the hospitals, only because most of the generation that we're getting into the nursing field and all these things are now retiring and getting their benefits. That's why usually when you go into a hospital, you see a lot of elderly people. But recently, I started seeing so many more younger people. And
I
I was
used to work here.
yeah, I used to stab a kid in that room right over there. Blood went everywhere, all over the walls. I was like, okay. But you get to see this weird change happen. Like I saw so many young people when I was walking in the hospital now, and it was crazy to see because I was hearing people in the room next to me that were obviously going through more severe stuff than I was, and I was just in there like, let's just get this done so I can go party. Like it's my birthday, and I definitely don't want to be in here any longer. And the funny thing was, like, so many people were like, I don't want you to be my doctor. And I'm listening to this happen in the room beside me, especially. And like the woman that was with the guy that was in the hospital bed was like, yeah, can we get someone that's been here for a while and like looking for a specific old
Oh
person.
yeah,
And I'm like, what? Is it because of the
Doogie
experience?
Howser sort of thing.
Yeah, like the experience factor behind it. I'm like, whoa. And then this young guy comes into my room. He's like, I'm just here to get some information from you. I'm like, I look at his name tag. It says Zach. I'm like, what's up, Zach? He's like, hey, oh, hey, man, what's up? Like, he didn't expect the communication aspect to it. And then, like,
Yeah,
he gets all my information down and then he walks out. And I see him like 20 minutes later with a freaking thing of gummy bears in his hand that he got from the snack machine. And he's going back behind the desk to go type in some stuff on the computer. And I'm like, Zach. And he like turns around, like, what the hell? Who's calling me? And he looks over, he's like, are you all right? I'm like, Yeah. I'm like, did you just get gummy bears? He's like, yeah. I'm like, yo, slide B a couple gummy bears. He's like, I don't. He's like, I kind of can't, man. And I'm like looking at him. I'm like, is it because you can't or you just don't want to?
You
He's like,
won't. Gummy bear stat.
yeah. It's like it's a little bit of both, but that environment aspect to it too, like it was just so freeing. And he's like, "You're dude, I'll get your nurse over to you right in a minute." I'm like, "All right, man, cool." She comes in. Holy shit, man. I've never met anybody that wanted to just create this. Like, she was like looking at me, like giving me that false attitude, like, oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were gonna say something else.
No. She was like, what's your pain level at? I'm like, probably like a 7, 8 out of 10. I'm not a very guy that does easy well with, I mean, I'm good with pain, but it's like, I'm never the one to tell you how much pain I'm in. And
Oh yeah,
she was like, are you a
that's
really
helpful when they need to know.
Exactly. And she was like, "Are you really a 7 or an 8?" But she was just rushing me. She was like, "Look, I have another patient that is in critical condition. If you don't need me right now, I need to go." I'm like, "I'm just wondering how
Warm all over.
yeah, like I was like, I'm wondering how you're gonna leave this IV in my arm with nothing attached to it, just a freaking needle in there. I've been in here for 3 hours. I was legit like, I have been in here for 3 hours now, and nobody has stopped by and said anything to me but Zach that walked by with fucking gummy bears. And she just looked at me. She was like, okay, I'll be back in just a minute, and then we can get you out of here. I was like, all right, cool, thank you. If nothing's wrong with me, let's go.
Like,
And
oh, Zach doesn't work here.
yeah, fucking Zach just randomly sneak. That would be an easy gig, right? Just sneak right into the hospital, put on a lab coat, and start typing up shit.
I feel like if it's busy, you could easily get away with it. You just wear the right stuff, and then like you're the one person who comes up to someone and go, "I just need all your details," and you go, "Oh yeah, because they're so happy to be seen finally." And then you get all their details, and you're like, "Thank you," and then just walk out of the door. They're like, "Uh, who was that?"
Any questions that get asked? Stethoscope? Stethoscope? Somebody need a stethoscope? No, we want to know what the blood levels are on him. Oh, I got a stethoscope. Does that help?
Yeah.
Well, what do you find most fascinating about the nursing field in general? Like, what do you find that got you really kind of started into it, or just wanting to dive into it?
Oh, I feel like I could give you like a really inspirational answer. It was literally mainly that it was one of the first things I knew if I got into it after the other job, I could get a job afterwards.
Yeah,
It was like guaranteed work kind of thing almost.
thank you for giving me a real answer. Um, it's like when someone offers you, like, if there's one thing you could have in this world, one thing you wish for, what would it be? And they're like, I want world peace. I'm like, bitch, I want a Lexus
Yeah. Yeah. I want that Scrooge McDuck pool so I can just jump in there and be like, money,
all
but not
day.
coins. I feel like that would be painful.
Well, just through studying, like, what have you found at least the most fascinating just with learning in general from the nursing degree or just program?
I find like a lot of it's like interesting, like when it comes to a lot of it, it's like you learn it for like a semester and then the next semester, everything you previously learned's almost gone. You're like, I don't have that much time to remember every single thing. But like I don't know, it was interesting. Like I did the cardiac ward for one point. And it's like you learn all this stuff about heart, and then you actually get to see it in practice, and you're like, oh, this is cool. Like certain things, like I was hoping I was going to see a heart maybe, but that wasn't part of the ward. But like I don't know, it was just like getting to see. It's weird, like seeing someone like crash or something is like just the stuff where it's like a bit grittier and bloody. You're like, whoa, that's cool. Like you're getting to do something. You get to be a part of it, or like when they involve you because you're just a student at that point. So it's nice to be like, they're like, oh, come in here. And you're like, I'm involved. Even if it's like the smallest thing, it's like, I gave the doctor a pen. It's like, yeah, we saved some lives today.
Yeah, well, you
That
got to
sort of thing.
it gets hard for people to have that also career path in general, even though it might be an easy option or something. It's difficult when it's in a train wreck situation, when you're having someone come into the emergency room, when you're having someone crash on you, all these different scenarios that happen. Like for me, I'm not a very good person that does good with overwhelming. I do amazing at being able to make sure I never get overwhelmed by just making sure I can file out everything I need to do, everything's good, it's not hitting me later.
Oh, yeah.
But if a
It's
million things
organized.
start piling up, I'm like, fuck, I can't think when everybody's on me. Like I'm heating up. I feel like I'm wearing like a 90 or like a wool sweater in 90-degree weather. I'm like fucking like itching and shit. I'm like, all right, man, I need some space. I need some space.
Yeah.
Zach, gummy bears, damn it.
Yeah, I can. That's the kind of where the part where like oddly I can thrive in that section. Like if I've like I'm at work and there's like five people, oh, I need this, what's going on? It's like I can manage all that sort of stuff. But I'm like, I'm the opposite. I like to I sweat the little things. Like it's like I could be stressed. Like five people, all this crap's happen. I'm like, all right, we'll prioritize. We'll do blah 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 and all this sort of stuff. And it's like my pen stopped working, and I'm like, my pen, my goddamn pen, and I'll like freak. It's like I never really like the big things don't get me. It's the smaller things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's better than like someone crashing on you and you just come in like, I got this. And then
Yeah, it's helpful in that job. It's a lot
sucks
better
if you're
than like,
trying to write down paperwork and you're like, I need a fucking pen.
yeah.
Nobody has a pen. I just saved four people's lives and I don't have a pen. I'm pretty sure I left it in that guy's larynx.
Yeah. A hero needs a pen.
Well,
Only Sophia.
there's a cool thing like just that you probably figured out in just the medical industry in general just by studying it is the fact that like once you start studying and learning a lot more about diseases and so many things, you immediately start diagnosing yourself and diagnosing around you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very it's a yeah, whenever you're doing like case studies and stuff like that, and it's like you're looking up all the facts and you're like, okay, you're like, oh, I've got diabetes, or like, yeah, that's definitely a thing. The more you know about stuff like that, it's like you Google symptoms, and you're like, yep, I've definitely got that.
This is where WebMD scared the living shit out of me because of the
Dengue
fact
fever.
I ate 2 boxes of Raisin Bran in one sitting and I didn't poop for like a week. And I was like, okay, something's wrong. My stomach hurts, my insides are hurting. I was like, what do I do? And I looked up on WebMD and the first thing said, was it Raisin Bran? And then there was another link and I was like, it was Raisin Bran. So I clicked that one. And then it's like, oh, you have stomach cancer. I'm like, well, shit, here we go. I knew it. Mom, get the car ready. Gotta go
Yeah,
now.
let's look for coffins.
Some person on the internet said I have stomach cancer, so it has to be true.
Like bloody raisin bran. They never mentioned that.
Well, it's actually an experiment they do too with just nurses in general. They give them a certain case or they give them a certain disease or something that they start researching, and they find that they start adapting those syndromes. Our brain does this weird thing where when we learn more about it, we basically start to develop things from whatever we just learned. Mostly when
Oh,
it comes to medical cases. I forgot what the syndrome's called. There's something behind it, but this is actually partially the reason why doctors don't diagnose their families, they don't diagnose themselves because it's very, very difficult. Because once you start learning and unlocking more of that information, you're like, oh shit, my hand, it's cramping up. That means that's a sign of early arthritis. And then you go down a deep rabbit hole to
yeah.
where you're like looking for a plane ticket to Taiwan to do some type of form of meditation or acupuncture from a spiritual enchanter that drinks out of a river.
Gotta get some monkey bones.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's basically like not the freaking out part, but the like the whole uni is like you learn certain subjects and then you go on placement and hopefully you're in an area that specializes there. So then it all comes to practice. You're like full circle. I'm like, that makes sense. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, if you're just doing it at home, it's easy. Like, why'd you eat 2 boxes of the brand for anyway? Was that like a challenge or you were just really hungry?
Really, I work out a lot, and I
Is
saw
that
two.
tasty or something over there, or you got better
Do you not
flavors?
like Raisin Bran in Australia?
I don't really eat cereal, man, but if I do, it's like
We're just like, well, this is like an end of the conversation talk here. Oh my God. I go,
I heard you say this on the other one.
when I go to the
I,
store, it's fucking cereal all day.
I swear I heard this on one of your other pods you were talking about. I can't remember what it was, but it was like it was you or this, and the girl was like, "Oh no, I choose this," and you're like, "This is a conversation ender."
I'm telling
I was like, I was gonna make my best not to. I didn't think the brand
you.
would be there.
If you shit on Honey Smacks, we're done.
Just note cereals, don't mention it.
No, but like, so I do want to talk about though, like, what is your hope for this field in general? Like, what are you trying to go into? Are you trying to go into a registered practice that focuses on a certain part of the body, or are you trying to just to go into like emergency trauma? I felt like if I was going to go into the nursing field in general, I would want to be an emergency specialist just because I need a different scenario every day. If I'm looking at someone's colon and I'm a colon doctor, gastroenterotomy, whatever it's called, if I'm just doing that every single day, I would get so bored where I'd be like, hey, just eat 2 boxes of Raisin Bran. I want to see what happens.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not that fussed about that. Like, I'm literally at the moment, I just want to work in a hospital where, earn that fat cheddar. I'm just
Is
like,
that is
that's
that
my goal at the
is
moment.
that what you want? Is just the money aspect of just working in the medical
Is
industry?
just earn some good money.
Thank you for giving me a legit answer. So many people give me that
You
like,
like honesty, there you go. But
yeah,
I would like to be in some sort of specialty, but like as you said, like I guess over time you're like, I need something real nice to come in every once in a while to sort of spice it up. But at this point, having not been in there for years or anything, I'm setting my bar quite low of just anywhere would be nice to start it. But yeah, a hospital is the goal, not so much like a practice, but I'll work wherever at this point.
have you ever had any like serious injuries where you needed to go to the emergency room or you had to be in the hospital, like broken arms, sewing or not sewing? What do you call it? Stitches.
I had a real bad sewing accident once.
I had a bad
Thimble
sewing
went right in
accident.
my ass.
Holy
Um,
shit. That's an emergency room care immediately.
I thought it would come off. Um, no, I've almost never broken anything. I have like I feel potentially like Superman, but maybe I just haven't pushed myself hard enough to break anything at this point. I'm fairly certain I've broken nothing in my life. And I haven't been to the doctors for like forever.
That brings up a
Good.
big question. Either you're supremely healthy, which is good, which a lot of people want in a doctor,
Or
or
the realistic.
like, see, that brings the thing. A lot of people want experience. Like, if I have a doctor that is missing an arm, I'm like, I want this guy to fucking take care of me. They're like, why? He's like, he's half a doctor. I'm like, he's probably been in some serious shit. And then he tells you, oh no, I just had diabetes. They had to chop it off. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, damn. So what are we doing with my nutrition plan then? Well, I think you should eliminate this. I'm like, you lost your arm. You can't tell me what I should and shouldn't eat.
Yeah, you got to look after that arm. Oh, should I look after my arm, or is that a bit late for you to be saying that?
Well, what I started learning about, which was really interesting, like so many people get into that career path for so many different choices. Whether most of it's probably the money aspect, but they never want to highlight that. Most of them are like, I would just want to help
Should I not have
people.
said that?
No, it's perfect. I love it. I mean, that's probably why I'd get into it too. I mean, it's all about getting a paycheck. I think the fact is, sadly, we live in a world where money is the main provider in all of our lives. It keeps the lights on, literally. So it's like,
Yeah,
why wouldn't I want to
it's
earn
a
more?
good jump up from what I'm earning now or have ever earned. So it's like if I can get there, I'd be like, yeah. But compared to like like oh yeah, it's good to help people and stuff as well. But you can go out and help people for free. So, so like you got to dance that line.
Well, we need people too. Sadly, like the amount of pressure that's put on doctors and nurses now, like, when they say like, "Oh, I have to work a 16-hour shift. I have to do these many shifts," and it's like you seem like you never have a day off. I have friends that are like, "I'm working basically 2 days straight," and I'm like, "Why?" Like, because we have to make sure all of our patients are on a safe level before we leave. Like, even if our shift's over, we have to do our rounds. We have to do all this shit. I'm like, well, how many patients do you have? Usually back in the day it was probably like 4 or 5 patients a person would have, which is seems like a lot, which it is, but it was manageable. Now we're talking about 7, 9 patients, per doctor, depending on what's going on in the area. And
Yeah,
they're just completely understaffed. Now, I'm not a big fan of the medical industry in general because I've been disled or distrusted by a few doctors, and it seems like they're always trying to go for something higher, and it's always the simplest thing with me. And I it's to have faith in it. I think a lot of people want that aspect. Like, if I get hurt, I want somewhere I can go where I'm going to be safe and I'm going to be taken care of. But the amount of care that is provided into hospitals nowadays is not the same as it used to be. I mean, we have so many more things that have changed throughout history that have made just hospitals safer and better in general. The technology that's getting provided to us, the cleanliness of it. I mean, back in the day, the reason why doctor made house calls was because it was safer to be sick at your house rather than sick at a hospital, because they didn't understand the idea of cleanliness or germex, you
yeah,
know?
and he's stooping it to your wife.
Yeah, like they were like, we had
Is that
rather
a word?
take, we
I
can,
don't know why I keep trying to put on an American accent when you can enjoy like the Australian one.
yeah. Why are you trying to do why are you trying to do an American accent? Come on
I
now.
just adapt what I can hear, man. Well, it's not even your accent, but also, isn't your health? I don't want to get into like a political battle or something here, but is it like um Do you have like you don't have free healthcare, right? Isn't it like everything you do there costs a ton of money if you get sick?
Most of the time, yeah. Like I get
You're not from
just
Canada, right?
I'm not from Canada, sadly. They
Right.
have free healthcare, but that is a debate though, because every time I get into a conversation with an Australian person, they always bring up something about America that's bad, and I'm like, look, we can play this battle all day. You know,
Oh, I love America, man.
that's
It's
good. I'm
the
glad.
opposite. I just want to. I was going to get into the cereal thing, but I wasn't sure if like I don't know enough comparisons. But what do you have over there? Sorry, I didn't mean to like derail that part. It's like I wrote rice bubbles here. Um, yeah, we have a thing called rice bubbles, but do you call them rice pebbles or some crap there? Basically the same thing. They're kind of like cocoa pops, but
Talking about Fruity Pebbles or
uh,
Snap Crackle Pop Rice Krispies.
yeah, those guys.
Okay,
Are you calling Rice Krispies or something there?
yeah, Rice Krispies.
Oh man, that's crazy. Because that's what I saw them when, like, I've been in the states about 4 or 5 times now,
The fuck's
and
a rice bubble?
that same thing. Snap, crackle, and pop.
Sounds like a
Same
dangerous.
characters.
It sounds like when you're growing rice, a bubble pops up and it can cause an explosion that kills everybody in the area.
Yeah, so it goes to your brain. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I wasn't sure if you knew that. I have a couple comparisons. I thought this would be the interesting, like, our our country versus your type thing. But like rice bubbles was a good one. There's a few other various cereals and stuff like that. The same exact same thing, just different brand. Australia just picked up like, oh, maybe we'll just call it this instead.
Why don't we all just go by one thing?
Exactly. It's the same, and they have the same characters. It's not like we have like three different characters. They're the same little like they're like chef elves or something, whatever they are.
Elf on the Shelf?
No, I just meant like, what would you categorize Snap, Crackle, and Pop as? Like the little characters?
They're
They're like because
elves.
they float in the air. Are they like floaty elves, fairies, or something like that?
I
But
have
they have
no
like
clue. I
chef
don't.
hats.
I'm not a big fan of Rice Krispies or Snap Crackle Pop, whatever you want to call them. Like they just don't. They look distrusting. Any elves on a cereal box smiling, and then your cereal cracks while you pour milk on top of it. That's just not something I'm about.
Yeah, they're laughing at you because they're like, we put little grenades in it. You don't know why these are popping.
Yeah, imagine just putting fireworks in somebody's cereal and then they go and bam.
There was another one I was going to say, like another comparison. Like, I don't think it's a show anymore. That was probably, hopefully, not before your time. But you call him Waldo, is that right? Like,
Where's
where's
Waldo? Waldo? Where's
Yeah,
Waldo? What are you going to
here he's
talk?
called.
Are you talking shit on Waldo now?
No, over here he's called Wally.
I like that one
Complete.
better.
Yeah, like Where's Wally, and the whole theme song is like Where's Wally. It's like I don't know what the theme song to the show you watch would be called. Like,
I don't even
'cause
know the show. I just know the book, and I remember spending hours trying to find fucking Waldo because he was hiding somewhere that was out of my reach of my eyes.
yeah, they should just do that one day and just don't put him on the actual page just to like mess with the kids' heads.
Yeah, so then the kid
He's
develops
gotta be here.
the kid develops schizophrenia or severe paranoia.
Waldo let me down.
I
But yeah,
spent
the whole
$2 on this fucking book, and you're telling me Waldo ain't in it?
you're like, we never said he was in the pages. You just assumed it.
Oh, that's a good one too. Damn, that is a good twist. About to create a book.
Yeah. Where's someone and just never actually put them in it? They're like, it's the hardest puzzle you'll ever find.
Well, it's crazy that we
Or
all
won't
don't go by
find.
the same things though, because I've offended some Bulgarian kids. Because what's weird is if I was going to tell you, how do you say yes? Like if you're going to shake your head, which direction would you shake it?
Up and down.
Okay, in Bulgaria, that's completely backwards.
Really?
When you say yes, you shake your head left to right. You shake your head that way. When you say no, you say up. You do up and down. And I didn't understand that, so I was asking some people like, you want a piece of this, or you want some of my food? You want a drink? Would you like me to turn the heat on? Anything like this? They'd be like, no, and they shake their head up and down. I'm like, what are you saying? You do want it? No. And they shake it up and down. I'm like, all right, well, I'm turning it on because you're shaking your head. I think you just misinterpreted the languages. But that's
Giving me a
literally,
lot of mixed signals.
yeah, like that's the thing though. Like that's just crazy. I know that our president a while ago, I mean a long time ago, I don't know which president it was, actually got in trouble because what he did was he gave a thumbs up um, to the people over there, and I think in Russia or something. And apparently that was a sign of offense there. They took that as like that's basically sticking the middle finger up at them. And I was like, what?
Really?
Like, imagine doing that, like not even meaning it, like going around like, hey, keep it up, giving them a thumbs up, and they're like, oh, fuck you too, man, fuck you.
Get out of our country.
Well, you guys have certain words that are very, very stigmatized over here.
Oh yeah, I was gonna write up a list and like check them with you, but I wasn't sure you probably already know them if you've
You
been
might as well
other.
just say them. This is open conversation. I already know the one word that you guys say all the time, which is like not even a bad word, but we choose to stigmatize it so much here because it impacts women in particular pretty, pretty bad.
Oh, I'd love to hear what this is.
You know what it is? Starts with a C.
uh,
I'm gonna make you say it.
are you talking the C word?
Yeah, the C word.
Oh, okay, yeah. What do you want me to say?
I do. I want you to say it with an Australian accent so you don't get in trouble.
Like see you next Tuesday. Is that what you're talking about, or is it a different
See you
word?
next Tuesday.
Yeah,
How is that a stigmatized
I feel
saying?
like that's an English thing.
Yeah, that's not. No, you know what word I'm talking about. I know you do. So don't play me on this, player. Every
I was
time
like, I haven't sworn yet, and you're just making me jump straight into the deep end.
come on, I've done it like 5 times. Go ahead. I don't feel comfortable now. I feel like your arms
I
up.
can say it. It's not.
Can you say it?
I'm trying to think of how you want me to say it.
I don't. Just say it.
Cunt.
Hey, you see that word? That word right there over here means so many different levels. But I got into a podcast the other day with an Australian person, and they were dropping it every other word. I was like, "What
Oh,
the?"
really?
Like I'm sitting there listening to it. I'm like, "Why?" Like I started realizing that over there they say it 1,000 times more. Like it's
Yeah,
not even.
there's like a certain type who can like get away with that all the time, but like I feel like English people say that a lot more in like a way where it's like they can say it like it's a friendly way. I think still here it comes off a bit aggressive, but unless you just pop it off so much that it just sounds like that's how you say friend or mate or something like that.
I think it's like it's a weird one because I know in England they say like, or in Canada they say hoser,
Oh yeah.
and
What does
hoser
that mean? I've seen that Yoga Hoser movie. Does that mean
it means
terrible movie?
it means you're a boner. Like
Oh yeah.
you're a stiffy, you're an idiot. You know, you're that
Stiffy.
yeah, you're that
Haven't heard that
type.
before.
I'm like, why don't we all just go by words? But I mean, some of them sound a hell of a lot better. I think when you say you're a hoser, that's 1,000 times saying that you're like a dick. You're a dick just means like you're a jerk. You know what I mean?
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
if you say you're a hoser, it's got like a cool accent onto it where it's like, I'm a hose, I'm a garden hose. Like you're a hoser.
Yeah, it's like a specifically Canadian insult.
Well, you said it earlier before that you were adapting an American accent in a conversation. I, dude,
Mm.
I do that too. I literally, I worked with
Can I hear your Australian accent?
I my Australian accent
Give
isn't
it.
really.
Do you
I
want to
like.
give us a crikey, mate, or something like that?
They don't even say that over there. I'm pretty sure.
No, that's like that was pretty much a Steve Irwin thing, and it was just kind of like adapted. Everyone's like, "Oh, crikey, mate!" It's like that was one person.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
it's it's not too bad. I feel like Simpsons and stuff like that has ruined Australian accents for like people over there or over where you are because it's like this British accent of like you call that a knife, we call that shazwazza, and I'm like no one here talks like that.
I just love doing it. Like I do that on my daily basis. I walk into a store with people that have never met me and I'll just adapt an accent. The hardest part is trying to keep it up the whole entire time where they're like, here's your change. And I'm like, oh, thank you. They're like, what happened to your accent? I was like, what accent? And they're like, oh, I see. You were faking it the whole time. Like I used to work with Irish people. So they would
Oh
always,
yeah.
and the best story I have doing jet skis with these Irish people. One of them got into an accident on the water and they're like, his name was
I
Kevin.
was like, does jet ski mean drugs? I was like,
You know what a
we
jet
doing
ski is,
jet
right?
skis, man.
I wish that would be a good slang word, I guess. But you know what jet skis are, right? Like on the water.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've
Um,
got them here.
so he said, somebody said that Kevin got into an accident on a jet ski out there. Somebody hit him, so he needs to be brought in. And all I hear on the radio, they're like, "Kevin, are you okay?" And then he picks it up and goes, "I think I broke my fucking foot." And I swear to God, we were supposed to be very serious, but I fell on the ground laughing so hard. And I'm like, Kevin,
Your fucking foot.
and I'm like trying to like talk serious, but I'm also laughing so hard on the ground that I'm like just holding. I'm like, Kevin, can can you can you repeat what you said? And he's like, why are you fucking laughing at me? I think I broke my fucking foot. And I swear it felt bad because he came back and he was like, you see this? And I'm like, your foot's fine, man. It's probably gonna be bruised. And he's like, he goes, he goes, why were
Your
you
fucking
laughing?
foot.
I was like, it's your accent, man. He goes, yeah. He goes, it's funny, isn't it? But I started picking it up while talking to him. Like I'll be talking to him, we'll get into a conversation. He's like, I'm gonna go to the bar after work if you want to come down and have a pint. I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, I'd be more than happy to come down there and have a pint with you. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what? He's like, you're copying my accent. I'm like, I don't mean to. It just happens. Like you start, you get in a room of like Chinese people, you get in a room of a thing, and you have to. Don't lie, don't joke. You know it happens.
Yeah, no, I've seen it all the time. That's what I figured is that, yeah, the people who do that and they're like some people do it like I think completely just like naturally not even realizing like they'll be there and someone's like they go to like hey, I got my pizza, and they're like, hey, what would you like, and that sort of thing, and they're like, why are you doing the voice? I can understand you, and they're like, oh, yeah, no, I didn't mean to, or like you just notice people naturally doing it, but when they do it to like I don't know certain races, it always just seems a little bit funny because you're always like, I'm like, why are you doing that voice?
Well, we live in this like world
What can
where
I get your?
like we pick up on things around us and we start to soak into our environment. So like when things all around you are speaking a certain way, you try and adapt. It's more like a characteristic of just adapting to our surroundings. And it's very, very strange because you see it all the time when someone goes into a certain restaurant or they're around so many people. I know a friend that works in like a Chinese restaurant, and he like at times like I'll like call him or something. He'll be at work. He's like, he'll just start speaking really fast on the phone. I'm like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "I'm at work, man. I can't really talk right now." And he's like picking up like this fake Chinese accent. And he's like, because he's around it so much, he doesn't
What
mean to
number you
do it.
want?
Yeah, he's like, "What's your order?" But y- they do that because of it's a weird, strange thing about us where we want to adapt to our surroundings, which makes it strange how like you notice where people come from, their cultures and stuff. It's all picked up from the things that they've been influenced by.
Yeah. Yeah. So some what is it like a Darwinism? Darwin, whatever. Can't remember.
Darwinism's evolution.
Yeah. I didn't think that sounded right.
Stick to your nursing degree, sir.
Scratch that off the record.
Don't
No.
die. Scratch that off the record. We sound like we're in an old cop movie. Is this off the record? Yeah.
I'm only gonna say this off the record. And you're like, it was never on the record.
I didn't know we were recording. Well,
Haven't started yet.
I do want to actually talk to you about this though. You're interested actually into barbecue and cooking.
Oh yes.
So how exactly did that come across?
It came at about 160 degrees for about 4 hours. Sorry, barbecue joke.
That was perfect.
No.
No, don't even apologize for that. That was a good one. That was like a dad joke that you get at a restaurant. Like, oh, are you waiting on us or are we waiting on you? And then it's like, oh, dad, you son of a bitch. She's hot and she goes to my school.
Yeah, you made that well and truly awkward for me. Yeah, no, I don't know. It was just kind of like I got into it initially myself based off nothing. Like I bought a smoker, but like just a sort of small as a portable one, and I just sort of played around with it. But it was so small, it was just burning everything instantly. It was basically like I should have just not bothered. So it kind of put me off for ages. And then like I started realizing there was stuff on Instagram and look, like there's a whole new word out there. But it was like there was this whole like barbecue community. And I'm like, oh wow. And then I'm like, that's how you do it. And all that sort of stuff. So I was like finding out how to do it. And then I just got into it. And then just over time, because I didn't really cook or try a lot of foods for ages. I was always like up to about 20, the age of 20 or so. I was like barely had any different foods. And then it was like I met my wife and stuff, and then it was like, oh, Mexican food? This food? I'm like, oh my God. It was like all these things I'd never tried before, like open and experienced a whole new thing. And then just kind of went from there and then just got into cooking and barbecuing. And they're so friendly. They're the best.
Sounds like you're getting a little hungry. I heard your stomach go off. Or is that
Yeah. I noticed.
there is
Wonder if
something there is
they
something
did
though.
pick that up.
Yeah, the mic picks it up, trust me. Mike picks up everything. If you fart, you're screwed.
Oh no.
That's why you never want to eat Mexican food before you go into a podcast. But it's actually pretty interesting on the fact that like barbecue food's probably some of the best food out there. I prefer like if I don't eat red meats at all. I'm a very clean eater. But when you have something on top of the grill, when you have any types of things like this, like this brings up a weird point too. Food is linked to your memory. When you eat something, you get immediate like a nostalgia
Oh
or
yeah.
memory flashback. So where does barbecue hit on that radar for you? I mean, you have an experience that you said you haven't really went out of the norm for it, but there had to be an initial kind of spark to it or a hint at it at some point in your life.
The barbecue, not so much, to be honest. Like because it was like growing up as like sausages or like steak and stuff. Basic.
Not a shrimp on the Barbie.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah, no, we never cooked them on the barbecue growing up either. They were always like something you just had like raw at Christmas. Or like cooked, actually. I don't know. But trying to think we never had them. I'm like, we just ate dust for Christmas. We're too poor. We just quickly trying to remember what you said. Oh yeah, no, the memory thing was basically just like a lot of the memories for me were like cooking stuff like roast meals and like home cooked meals, that sort of stuff was the memory one. Like if you could cook something or you have a stew somewhere, stew was always a big one. If you could have it in like, oh man, it brings you back to like just a really nice meal you had as a kid or something like that.
Oh yeah, dude. Let me tell you something. That crock pot is so much of a like a, just an eye opener when it comes to just. I don't like the aspect that it takes like a day and a half to cook. Like I put this in the crock pot, it's not going to be ready until like next week, and you're like, what the fuck? Like I want it now. Like I would like, like I'm the guy that's like when you're cooking around me or something, I'm the one grabbing like a spoonful of it and like, no, it's not ready yet. It's hot. Don't put it in your mouth. I'm like,
Yeah, that's still raw chicken. You're like, just give me a piece.
let me get a slice. God.
I'll pull up the salmonella, whatever, man. It looks so good.
That's another thing I pulled out of cereal, salmonella, but we won't get into that one. When it comes to the factor,
I'm
though,
like, please.
no, no. I talked about honey smacks and what they did to me, but I still eat them religiously. You live by the honey smacks, you die by the honey smacks.
That might have been the cereal I was thinking of earlier, actually.
With the
It was on
frog in the
the
front.
one where you're doing the voice recording. The girl who did the voice recording, a couple episodes.
Yeah, that's Diggum. You talking shit on Diggum?
I don't even know what that is.
It's a frog. It's a green frog. He has a Diggum shirt on. And he has
Oh, we don't have an Australian version of that.
That's
We
good.
don't have like.
There's only one original. That's why.
Ah, yes.
But
What
when it
sort of
comes,
cereal is that?
it's like a golden crisp honey thing. No, we're on barbecue. Let's talk about barbecue. I got my mind set on barbecue. Now I'm thinking of honey smacks. Now my stomach's gonna start going off. When we look at barbecue though, like the initial intention, like when I first grab a bite of something, first of all, I'm not a big red meat eater. So when I do eat red meats, it's gotta be charcoal. Like it's gotta be black. Like it's gotta be like
Yeah.
removed to the point where it's like a rock a little bit because I like that crispy factor.
Yeah,
When
I
it's
feel you,
something
brother.
when there's something you bite into it and it's like it's like bleeding all in your mouth, like people that order like I would like my steak bloody, I would like my steak rare, and then they get it and it's like all red on the inside. You're like, man, how do you enjoy that? Like it the juices, the flavor. I'm like, like it's weird. It's like when you say the word moist, people start freaking out.
Cut your veins open and drink your blood if you love it so much. There's
Exactly.
Oh wait, so just to be clear, you don't like the raw steak, like rare?
I don't. I prefer it nice, like grilled, like really good.
Oh yeah.
Mostly because I used to go camping all the time as a kid. So my dad introduced me to camp, like just the benefit of cooking on a campfire. He would take like a steak or tin foil and a potato, and he would wrap it, and then he would cook it over top of the fire, and it would soak in all the flavor into it as well. So we pulled the steak out. It was nice, like it was dark, like he had it crispy a little bit too. He'd leave it on there an extra minute for me or something. But that flavor got all trapped inside of it too. But
You're like,
you don't
which
want
level of charcoal would you want, kids? That sort of thing.
Yeah, but then that brings into a whole nother aspect when it comes into barbecue. Like, if you're gonna use a wood grill or you're gonna use whatever, you can put different pellets and shit inside of it. Like, my buddy ended up starting his own like barbecue smoking thing too. Like, he bought a smoker, like one of those giant smokers, and started smoking his like meat and everything. And that sounds
Oh
dirty,
yeah.
but it was
Yeah, yeah. Pretty much every term to use in meat is like rubs and jerking and like smoking meat. It's just lends itself to like some sort of interpretation.
it opens up a whole new world though to the factor like we're like a lot of people are just eating the same thing over and over and over again. How often do you ever break out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like the whole thing with the smoking is like this is based off very little fact, but from what I remember reading somewhere, it was that I think it's like the whole like point of it initially was that people were using like shitty cuts of meat, like people didn't like ribs that much and brisket and all these other shitty things, and it was like the second they realize they leave it in something just smoking slowly for ages and ages, it actually brought out all the flavors and all the little chewy bits that you couldn't just roast out in about 2 hours. And people were like, wait, this is actually really good. So it's like all these meats suddenly got like this like following, and now they're like they can sell the same rack of ribs that would have been like cheap as shit back in the day is suddenly is like, oh, $30. You're like, they're the same ones. Like if you got a time machine and could just smash these out back when they weren't popular, you'd make a killing, I reckon. You could be like the king of the meat world.
Well, I live in a beach town, so our primary like source of just food in general is a lot of fish, a lot of like seafoods typed items and stuff like clams,
Oh
crabs, all
yeah.
these types of things. But we have a few, very few, like maybe one or two barbecue places just in our state in general, like at least on this side. And they're the top spots and they have the best idea. They're only open as a seasonal thing. So as
Oh
soon
yeah.
as they open up on day one, there's lines and lines and lines of them. They're like, "We're going to Smoker's Pit. You coming?" I'm like, What are you doing?" Like, "We're gonna get a pork sandwich." I'm like, "You can get that anywhere, but like not this type of pork. They grow it on the grill." I'm like, "Damn." But
Then you open a month.
yeah, my buddy literally like was like, "I'm gonna dive into this realm," because he's from like Baltimore, a lot of areas that have a lot of like, this general type of thing. And then he moves to Ocean City, which is like we have two waters beside us. So we're surrounded by water. We have the bay on one side and the ocean on the other. So we're
Oh, okay. I wonder
everything,
why you're saying two waters. I was like, what does
yeah.
that mean?
Well, everything you're getting is basically coming out of the sea. Every restaurant down here is a seafood style restaurant, whether they're serving tilapia, whether they're serving whatever. Might not necessarily come from here, but it's just an open area for it. We got the vibe to it, so we stick with that theme. But when he bought a smoker's pit, he was getting deer meat. He's a hunter. He's all this type of stuff. And he started
Oh yeah.
experimenting. And then he goes, "Hey, man, I just ordered a bunch of spices and rubs off the internet." And I'm like, first of all, I start thinking, what are you getting? Pornhub? Like, are you getting, getting rubs or something from another site? And he goes, "No, no, no. I got
Yeah.
a
How do you
bunch of
order a rub?
yeah." He's like, "I got a bunch of different spices." And I'm like, "Okay, what are we talking about here?" He goes, "There's Cajun style. There's all," and he starts rattling off a list of them. And then he's like, "I'm going to try them on different parts of the thing and see what it tastes like when it comes out." So after like a day, whatever, of him just doing this as on his off day from work, we ended up having grilled chicken tenders, all these types of things. And it adds so much more flavor to the food too. It
Yeah.
literally makes you want to take more time to actually cook something out and wait for it, because also waiting plays a big factor into how it tastes as well.
Yeah. It's pretty much it's like it's kind of like set up to be perfect for like chuck it in there and you've got eight, or depending how big it is, you could be like 12, like half the day, a full day or whatever else. Like some of the briskets take forever, or these huge like racks of whatever the hell, but it's like it's just sit there and drink the whole time while you wait, or do something else. Like some of them are just set and forget, that sort of thing. Like it's a good thing. And then you just, when you're finally done whatever else you're doing throughout the day, you come back and you got this meat just succulent, just sitting there, and you're like, oh yeah.
Do you think that just with understanding barbecue more in general, that your kind of knowledge behind it, and first of all, reviews of places that you go where you start eating meats, you start kind of having this whole another side of you that starts really kind of looking at things from a different angle?
Yeah. Yeah. I've noticed that where like I'm on the scale of like pro to like amateur. I think like I'd be very much at the bottom. I only cook a certain amount of things, which actually goes back to your further point, but I'll bring that up in a sec. It was like, but yeah, you go to a restaurant and you're like, you have something and it's like, oh, barbecue ribs or whatever like that. And back in the day, before I did this, it was like, oh, ribs or whatever. Like that was so nice. And now you have them now, and you're like, oh yeah, they're all right. But
This
you
is
know, it's
shit.
like,
You just say it. This is shit.
yeah,
I have
you just
look
chucked a bunch of sauce on it. I'm like, this is not that good.
ever like we'll turn this later
Shit.
down the
I'll
road.
say shit then.
We'll turn this later down the road. I'm gonna bring this up. But when it comes like I took a bunch of film classes in school, so then when I look at movies, I'm in no term of the word a movie creator, a film director, any of that shit. But when I look at films now, I start noticing they use that high angle here, they use a low angle here, they use a camera shot here. Just with having experience on it in general, you can tell so many factors that play into a film now. But when it comes to food as well, once you start understanding that people that are chefs, I have friends that are chefs. When we go out to eat at a restaurant or something, which I typically don't do, but they're like, man, I could cook this shit at home and make it taste 10 times better. I'm like, can you really? You work at fucking McDonald's. What are you cooking there that is better than? And he's like, dude, just let me tell you something. All they do
Watch
is
how
they
shit
throw
my nuggets are, man.
yeah, they're like, all they do is throw this together, this together, this together, and it's done. They don't really have to go through the whole process. But then I have some friends that work at executive restaurants and stuff, and I'm asking them, and he goes, they could have seasoned this a little bit better. They could have did this there. This is a little dry, and I'm eating it like you have a bunch of information in your head that you're adjusting to the meal right now that I have no clue about. Mostly because
Yeah.
all I'm cooking every single day is a salad and some chicken or some fish, and I'm just dumping cayenne pepper all over it.
It's like, can I just eat my meal without the judgment? So what do you do with the movie though? Like if you got all this like movie knowledge now, do you like heckle the movies when you're watching it? You're like,
Not
put a
really.
wide lens, like, and they're like, just watch the movie.
I'm really actually like pretty quiet during movies too. I'm actually like the main guy. Like I'll call somebody out if their phone goes off. I'll be like, "Really, bro? Like, come on!" Like I'm the type of guy. Phone in the car, I barely use it. It's like it's just sitting in there, and I want to enjoy the movie. I mostly want to enjoy the so many factors that play into a film as well. And I was hoping to do a segue later on this, but if you want to bring it up now, we can do it now. Okay. Um, with your podcast too, where you're reviewing bad movies as well, like you know you're just starting out doing podcasting, but you also like how did you decide you wanted to go into just bad movie reviews in general? Like this is probably the same question I can ask for you. When I watch a film, I'm not judging, even though I've seen some shitty films and I know some films that are crappy. I never dismark them or dislabel them, only because it's somebody that is taking their creative time and passion to be able to create something as well. And plus, so many factors come into making a really good movie too. I've seen some Marvel movies that everyone's like, they made 86 billion in the box office. And I'm like, but did anybody pay attention to the independent film that came across literally right across the way? Like that one had
Yeah.
no advertisements for it, and it was fucking amazing. And it made way, 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 way less.
Yeah. That is one of my concerns that at some point, um, like it might interfere with someone who was some part of the movie. Or like if you like I'm not going to be tagging people who were in the movie in it, but that's also something. It's like it's only because it's like I wanted to do something to incorporate movies, but I feel like if I'm just describing a movie to people, it's less interesting than some sort of point of like pointing out shitty stuff. But the podcast thing, which is also I didn't realize at the time, was when I thought of this idea, I had a whole thing I was going to call it horrible horrors and all this sort of stuff. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. I was going for the double name sort of thing. And then I looked up and that's was already a name that was well established and had like 200 episodes and all this. So I was like, "Ugh." And then like 3 or 4 different names I thought of were all already established
Yeah.
things.
Well, you're going to come across that sadly with the concept of what you choose to do with your podcast is actually a
Yeah.
pretty
It's not
popular.
original either.
Yeah. Well,
I just hope my views are
it's like a
that's my
weird,
gimmick.
it's a weird thing now. Just movies, true crime, all that shit in the podcasting industry in general. When I mean shit, I just use it as like just stuff out there. I don't mean that your
Oh
podcast is crap. I would never say that, even though it's literally called the Creepy Crap Podcast.
yeah.
How do you like
Yeah.
that name drop? That was perfect. Okay. But when it comes into the factor though, like reviewing movies, reviewing food, reviewing
Keep that quote.
yeah, whatever it comes to though, these are really, really popular topics and a lot of people are focusing on it just because of the aspect of there's a giant audience of people that want to know about this. It's why every single true crime thing kills it. Doesn't matter if you just start one. If you literally title your podcast the True Crime Podcast, whatever, it'll immediately get a bunch of follows. It's probably already taken, so you're probably going to add some underscores and shit in there just to get an Instagram handle for it. But it's because
It's called
everyone,
Mine True Crime, the Creepy Crap podcast.
yeah, well, everyone's got this type of passion for that because mostly people want to watch the thrill. They like the suspense behind it. It's why a lot of people watch movies in general. You like the suspense, you like the thrill to it. It's why a lot of people enjoy watching people eat food because they don't want to necessarily eat it themselves, but they want to watch someone get the satisfaction from it and also get it for a piece of themselves, which is really weird that food blogging is taking off right now. Because we're living
I
in a
went to
world where
200 restaurants and you're like, oh, that looks so good. And I'm like, I've sat here and done nothing.
we're living in a world where we're trying to be very, very health conscious people, but we're not doing it in the correct way. I've eaten salads every single day, but I enjoy an occasional sneaky treat. Mostly, I'm a fitness freak. It's not to gloat, it's not to do any of these types of things,
Oh,
but
yeah, I saw that. Very
it's
strong.
it's just a factor because I had something that happened to me in my life where I took a turn and I tried to make myself better, which I have. Now, when it comes to the factor though, is we're being very, very strict on health when it comes to what we're consuming in our bodies. So many people start off the new year, start off whatever, and start going, I'm going to cut everything out. No more bad junk food. No more any of this. No more of this. You end up binging later, people. You end up being like restricting yourself for what, a month? You lose some weight. Next thing you know, you're like, is that Domino's pizza? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, oh, and then they fold the whole thing like a taco and start eating it and then feeling like shit. And then it really causes some psychological and physical damage. So, as a health conscious society, if we're going to truly live this healthy lifestyle, stop fucking looking up food reviews. Stop looking up all this stuff. It's interesting to watch. I get off on it too. You know, if I see somebody tear up like a Popeye's chicken sandwich or something because I can literally walk by like somebody cooking food, like my buddy was cooking waffles the other day or something, and he was putting a bunch of things. I just started telling him shit he should add on top of it. He's like, "You want me to add an egg on top of it?" I'm like, "Just do it."
And
He's like, "Why an
then
egg?"
you're like, oh, do you want it? You're like, nah, man, that's gross.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's gross. I'm just saying I don't eat that stuff. And he's just like, okay. And then I'm watching him get the satisfactory from this thing told him to add like 50 items on top of. And he's like, this sounds disgusting. I'm like, just eat it. He bites it. He's like, this is fucking amazing. I'm like, because you get that. You know what tastes good. You get cravings. The thing is, don't let the cravings overtake you. Don't let it be like, oh shit. Like my buddy, no way a fitness freak. But this is a different buddy than the one that's cooking waffles. He's a big meat guy. His name's Forrest. He owns whatever his own page on Instagram that's all about smoking foods. It's the guy telling you about the smoker.
Oh,
He
yeah.
literally all red meats, all heavy meats. I'm a guy that if you have red meat around me, I'll get sick to my stomach. I'm not vegan, but I haven't had it in forever where like my body's like, what is, oh God, diarrhea, like immediately like, oh God, shit. Like it's
Yeah.
amazing to watch him and the stuff he creates and maybe snag a little piece, but then I won't go to the bathroom for like a week. But he's he's showing me all the things that he creates and all the things that he enjoys from it too. It's it's entertaining to watch because you literally get to see somebody. That's why we have food addictions here. You get to see someone literally get off on just eating food in general. But all these trends, like just to go back to like the podcasting too with movies as well.
I thought of why I liked it, if you want me to explain that.
What, the creepy crap?
Yeah, I feel like the thing with it is like there's like it's not a unique idea. I'm well aware of that, but it's the same thing. Like because like you said, I'm at the movies. If I go whenever I go, I'm like any noise. I'm like, oh god. But if I'm here at home, I rattle, I talk nonstop. But I think the thing is like if I watch a movie, like I understand. It's like I'd be the same thing if I made a movie and I saw one comment something. Oh, it's crap. I'd be like, I'll kill you. But it's like I think some people like because I used to do it through the other things. There was like Cinema Sins and a few other bunch of ones where like they would just rip a movie apart from all the little bits that were shitty. Because I'd watch a movie sometimes and I'd be like, "Oh my god, why is this happening?" I go, "Why would they do that?" Or like a whole bunch of little like things. I'm like, "This makes no sense." And then I'd watch someone else talk about it. I'm like, "Oh my god!" And it was like you could live your sort of like you might not want to rip it apart or do anything else, but you watch someone else do and you can feel good because you're like, I'm justified, my thoughts. Someone had the same feelings I had, and that sort of thing. And that's how I was for ages with lots of stuff. But then I just thought, I'm like, I'm like, oh, I'm pretty opinionated. Instead of like ruining every movie we watch here, I thought if I could put it in the podcast, it might stop me doing it as much to anyone watching it with me.
You're watching terrible horror movies, so how do you classify if one's horror or horrible or not? Like, how do you classify as terrible and it's a horror movie? You just look it up on Google and see what the top list of movies that are horror that get shit on all the time.
No, a lot of it was based off. I do like Internet Movie Database, and if it was like 5 or less under out of 10, I would think there's probably a reason this is like didn't reach a 5. But then, like you said, there's some independent ones that just never got enough reviews to make it good. So then you're like, this is, and I've watched a couple where I went to do it and I've stopped because I'm like, this is actually a good movie. I'm not going to do it. It's mainly ones I've seen in the past that I know are shit, like that annoyed me for some reason. I'm like, oh, this is like some sort of therapy because I'm like, I paid for this DVD. Not that
You
I'm like,
you
I
want it to be
deserve to
good.
do
You
this.
want
It's
it to
just
be
like,
good.
yeah, you've sold me it as a good movie and it wasn't.
When I was a kid, I was like probably 13, 14. I was at a buddy's house and we were looking for a scary movie to watch at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and fucking Zombie Strippers was the title of the movie. So I click on it and I'm like, it's $4.99. Let's buy it. It seems like it's zombie strippers. Like, well, that's not a bad concept at all. Dead things stripping. That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
That movie, oh my God. That that's a shit movie. I'm sorry. That movie's just disgusting in general. If you're a necrophiliac, you probably get off on it, which I try and keep that in my head. Like, oh, that movie
So I
wasn't
just
meant.
got to write that down. Zombie strip. No.
No, you should. You
was
should
it
definitely
heavy
review
on
that
the
movie.
stripping part at least?
Yes, it was like strippers were getting infected, and as they're going through the symptoms of turning into zombies, they're also stripping. So somebody's like, "Oh, she's gonna shoot this out of her cooch," and next thing you know, she shoots, and blood just squirts everywhere, all over into everybody's mouths, and they're like,
Uh,
"Oh yeah, tipper, tipper," and I'm like, "What are we watching?" And it's like it was worse because it was
who
like
is
when
supporting this?
exactly, but it was like around the time that Piranha that movie came out, so like we're like, "Oh,
Oh
this would
yeah.
be cool," and so you're a kid, dude. Like I was a kid when it happened. So like I'm watching it as I'm like starting to like get interest in like girls and all these types of things, and I'm watching and I'm like, oh
It's
God,
warping
this
your
is what
thoughts on them now.
happens. This is what happens when you have sex. Oh, her foot falls off. Ah. And
The blood thing could happen though.
yeah, but not that, not like that. It was blue and black and this, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it was
Because that could warp if that was your first that was your first video of anything, like I don't know, probably not at that age, but you're like, oh my god, look at these girls, these are girls, man. And then you suddenly like they're like you're 18 and you're like just looking up like dead bodies. You're like, oh man, oh that's so good. And you're like, I think that movie might have affected me.
it's an imprinting thing too. There's actually a true serial killer. One of my friends that does a true crime podcast actually brought it up. There's a serial killer that was addicted. They were called the lady shoe killer, and he would literally kill women and take their shoes. And the reason why was when he was a child, he used to go to a lot of shoe stores with his mom, and you're a kid, you're going to try on some of the shoes, you're going to do all these weird things. He developed a foot fetish from it, and his mom found him one time actually with the shoes on, like with her shoes on, and she beat the living shit out of him to the point where it scarred him against that. So any woman that was wearing nice shoes, he would kill them and take their shoes. There's an
Oh yeah.
imprinting thing that happens. Sadly, or not sadly, I should say, but gladly, to the zombie strippers things did not get me any weird type of thing from it.
Yeah. I
Not
was a
to
bit curious which way you were going to go with that.
not to offend anybody out there that might be into that.
It's
But
like every morgue in your town has a little photo with your face on it saying, do not let him in.
that brings up a thing though. Like, do you get a mortician job because you like watching people? Like, do you like people that are dead? Do you like being around that? If you're comfortable around it, why is that? And I've had so many people give me the answer. It's because I get to do my time alone. Nobody's on my ass. I just get to put in headphones and I just get to work. I'm like, but isn't it an uncomfortable feeling around being dead bodies? And they're like, no. I guarantee you there's probably one person out there that gets off on the fact that they're around dead people all the time, like literally taking toe tags and shit. Like, oh, I'm gonna switch this one around or do something like that. It's kind of like the same thing with nursing
Or
in
just cop
general.
a quick feel.
Well, the same thing with nursing in general. Do you like the aspect behind caring for another person because you have a natural intent to like nurture things, or do you like just the fact that everyone else around you is hurting and you're perfectly fine? That brings us to a whole other fine line too. I know doctors, like people that get caught or people that get sent to jail because they're making their patients sicker, or they're telling them they're sicker than they actually are. What you know,
When nurses kill.
yeah, it's a very, very weird thing that as people we adopt these types of personality traits and features based on just our environmental influences.
Yeah, I guess that's not what I'm aiming at, but it's too soon to say something like that, I guess. Give it a couple years, see where I go.
I hope you're
Might
not
get
like
my own Netflix special, who knows?
pushing people in front of fucking buses and shit. That would be terrible. What did you do, Daniel? This guy was standing in the street. He jaywalked and he paid the price. Like, you drove over him. Yeah, well, he was jaywalking. That's his fault.
And then I saved him, so I'm a
Uh,
hero.
that's oh, that brings in a whole nother thing. When it comes into though, like the factor of like just judging a horror movie in general, what would you say just with doing the podcast, or what movies are you trying to do that you find are probably some of the worst horror movies you've ever came across?
I'm trying to do like a thin line between like I know ones that are just they're going to be shit, like Sharknado and all those sort of ones. Like
You talking shit on
any of
Sharknado?
those. I don't know. I've only watched one of them, but
I haven't
there's
seen a
like
single one. I was like, sharks and tornadoes. The guy did not do this well at all. Like,
there's a billion of them, man. It's crazy. There's like Sharktopus,
and
Sharktodile. Like it's
people keep
every
watching
combination
them.
of animal you can think of that's like vaguely scary. Like, oh, it's like crocodile, scorpion versus pterodactyl, and then they've incorporated dinosaurs into a lot of them now. So it's like it's just a mixture of like some sort of predator or killer, like animal mixed with like it's always two mixes versus another one, or there's like, oh, it's Sharknado, six-headed shark. I'm like, how is that working? Like,
You wanna know how that idea first of all came to the writing board? It was some dude at a writing board like, what scares people the most? And someone's like, sharks, and another person's like, tornado. Boom, put it together. We got a fucking
yeah,
movie.
that's pretty much how I'd imagine it. It's just like someone's thrown like a list of about 100 words, and then they just close their eyes and pick like four of them and put them in a row. And they're like, oh, Mons volcano shark, perfect, like that. Some sort of combination. They're like, that's a movie. And then it's like there's like 5 or 6 sequels of them or something like that. I'm like, and it's like starring Tara Reid or whatever like that. It's like they just get some nobody celebrity to stay there, or like someone's washed up and they're like, I'll be in every sequel.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you get like a lot of bad movies get disguised by really, really good actors. Like, I've seen so many movies that are like, wow, this concept's a little bit bad. And then you're looking at it, you're like,
Oh yeah,
why is it doing it so well? Oh, it's because they threw a bunch of good actors in there. Next thing you know, they turned it into a good film. Like, when you
there's
start
a
like,
lot. Oh,
well,
sorry, kick.
when you start like when I first started taking act or not acting classes, but directing and all this stuff, like doing my own videos and stuff, I started noticing a lot in the movies, like, oh, this is carried on because it's Mark Wahlberg's in it. This is literally why this movie is doing well. They got a bunch of good people in this movie that are making it a really good concept. And then you see the opposite. You see a bunch of good actors that are in a movie, but it does really, really bad too.
Yeah, because some like that's exactly what I was going to say. It was like they, the horror wise at least, there's like it'll be like, oh, the guy Robert England or whatever, the guy who plays Freddy. It'll be like he's on the front cover. It'll be like, oh, whatever the movie is, some really crappy one, but the cover looks alright and it has him. So you're like, it's got to be pretty good. And he'll literally be in it for a cameo for about 30 seconds or so. Or like you can tell he was in it for one scene and they've split it to like spread it out throughout the movie or something like that. And there's tons of them, like all these horror people, like like Doug Bradley, there's a lot of the horror ones seem to go and spread themselves out over these, like they're in these movies. I don't know what they got paid, but they're the front and center on the front of the DVD cover. And you're like, this has got to be good. And then you realize they're barely in it for apart from that quick scene. And then you're like, I feel like you bait and switched me here. Like nothing else apart from this is in it. And you're like, oh, this movie sucks. And you're like, no one's in this. Like there was no point to this. It's just they've just spent their whole budget on probably his cameo and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so many movies like the Bird Box. Everyone fucking loved that movie. I did not like it at all. I liked the first 5 minutes when people were killing themselves all over the place because I thought like, oh, it's like The Happening with M. Night Shyamalan, and the
Oh
next thing you
yeah.
know, it's like, Oh no, they just had a bunch of things like you never saw the monsters. It was all about the fear aspect behind it, and then they just
Yeah.
what's her name, Sandra Bullock in it, and I'm not a big fan of her. So I'm like just watching. I'm like, well, this movie isn't for me anymore. I'm gonna go upstairs. Like it's only been 10 minutes. I'm like, I don't want to watch the rest of this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a lot like that where the main thing for me, like, there's like the ones where it's like if it's heavily CGI'd and stuff like that, I'm just like, nah, because you know it's going to be garbage. Like I said, the animal versus natural disaster combination movies. I'm not bothering with them too much because I know they're just like that's already sort of kind of assumed they're not good. But like I could be wrong. I haven't really tested that out. But it's the ones where you watch a movie and it's basically like I watched When a Stranger Calls, like for a good example of this. It's like you watch it and you're like, okay, this is pretty good. It's a couple little celebrities in here. It's not too bad. And then it's like it ends, and you're like, did we forget to like? I feel like did they have the scenes and then they deleted them, or like it's been edited where they took out the part that made sense at some point. Like some movies, like oh, it went for an extra half an hour and it explained all these things, but they cut it out, and then it's like you're watching it and you're like you nothing got resolved here. And it's not like, something where it's like, oh, like trying to leave a little suspense at the end. It's like, no, you didn't answer anything. And then that's what annoys me with the movies. And I just get fired up because I'm like, you've just spent 90 minutes or 2 hours or something, and then you get nothing at the end. You've just like, I've literally just watched people act and that's it.
Or you blew your whole budget in like 30 minutes, and then you got to figure out what you're gonna do for the rest of the hour.
Yeah. I don't get that's what annoys me with the movie. And if I see something like that and I can remember it or it's a fresh one, they're the sort of targets I'm going at. They're like they've had to wrong me or basically just be so crap where I've seen a bit of it before. I'm like, this is crap. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna turn this into something and make the most of it. But that's why I'm not doing it with good movies, because it's like I'm not gonna rip into a movie I like because it's like, it's like, what's the point? It's just kind of ones that like something over time has annoyed me. And I'm like, yeah, this is it. Now I can, like, my therapy is using the podcast to make myself feel better, I guess, by making fun of it.
Yeah, well,
I guess it's
you're
like a bully.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's easier to do that to a movie than it is to a person. It's definitely a lot more beneficial, at least when it comes in the aspect is not really anybody's getting hurt. If you're gonna shit on a movie, the person just gonna be like, all right, whatever. But when you start going out and tweeting against the actor or tweeting against whoever's in it, you're like, your movie ruined my life to the point where I had to murder my whole family, and the person's just reading it like, oh my god, I can't believe my movie I was in did that. Like that whole. But
I took a chance and made a movie, and then I'm watching some like dickhead in another country just go like, "Oh, here's 40 minutes of why this movie is the worst thing ever made." I'm like, "How about you make a movie and then rip into the other ones?" But
well, there's a
like,
time. It's better. Like I like how you do it, where you at least do it at home. You're not doing it in the movie theater. I've came across that so many times where someone's like, "Oh
what during the movie?
yeah, this guy on screen." Oh, I'm like, dude, like we're in a public theater right now, and you
That
are.
would be so annoying.
Yeah, I'm like, this is like a bunch of people are into it. Like Ford versus Ferrari. First of all, you even put that in the title, it's immediately getting at least a couple million people going to go see that movie because that is two top car brands. Next thing you know, you make a car movie, you throw Matt Damon and Christian Bale in it, bam, already a good movie. Doesn't even matter what the rest of the fucking movie's about. You
I was
know,
gonna say that's the only thing that would make it interesting for me. I hate cars. I'd be like, "Oh God."
exactly. I'm not a car guy. My buddy's a car guy. Me and him went to go see Ford versus Ferrari. Immediately, I saw Matt Damon and Christian Bale, and I'm like, "This is gonna be a good fucking movie." He's like, "Yeah, man. There's Ford, and then there's Ferrari." I'm like, "What the like? What are you talking about? Do you not notice the two actors that are in it?" He's like, "No, I don't really care about that. I care about the cars." I'm like, "Okay,
Like,
well,
is
we're
that
all."
the name in the movie?
That's literally the name of the movie is Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, okay.
So we're
I wasn't sure if
literally
that was their names as well or something, but
no,
it's
we went
car brands.
it was all literally about the story of the cars, how Ford got discovered, how Ferrari was discovered, and they got into this race. It was a good movie concept idea too. The idea of like trying to win this race to prove which car is better, like who's the better manufacturer, and to see all the struggles that they go through, the real stuff. And these are all real events that happen. Maybe a little bit Hollywooded up, but it was amazing to see it too, and then them race over it as well. But
True movies are always better. Hey,
I mean, that's
like
what documentaries kill it, man. Everybody wants to know. They don't want to. We live in a world where everything is too Hollywood. Nobody expresses how they really feel. That's why it gets like crazy. Like, oh, should I say that? Should I do this? It's like, yeah, just do it because honestly, people are gonna love the real aspect to it. When people listen to your podcast, they're not gonna be watching it because, oh, he's giving just a character, kind of whatever. You might dramatize it up just for views, but the fact is, you're still giving your real input on the movie. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That
If
real
someone stirs
aspect.
me up in mine, you can noticeably tell. There was one I didn't actually record it. I didn't put it up because that was once I got a new mic, I just got rid of ones I'd already recorded. But I got so fired up with this character. He was so so like it's just certain people might rub you up the wrong way. This character was just annoying me so much. And it was me just basically going, I'm like, oh, he's a douche. Look at his face. He's such a dickhead. I'm like, punch him. And I wanted him to get killed so quick and he wouldn't die. I was like, don't make this guy the main guy.
That happened. I mean, that happened to me when we were just talking about in the beginning. I was picking up my doctor. I was looking at him. I was like, "Oh shit!" But also, what
Someone
gets
kill this doctor.
what gets me is when I'm watching a film and then I see someone cry and they can't cry.
Yeah.
Like you're like, can we get another actor just for this quick minute? Like when they just like their face gets like in the face of crying, but there's no tears coming out, and they're just like, it's like, oh my god, are we listening to this? And like 5 minutes later, he's still going. Someone take him off screen, change the scene.
Like they cannot just squeeze an onion near his eyes or something to get some sort of tears are coming all the way where it drips out the middle, and you're like, oh, that's so fake.
That's not in the budget. Not in the budget. Damn it. Can't buy the onion. We already spent 50 million on the graphics in the beginning.
Yeah, he can't put one teardrop in his eye. But I reckon the movies, like I said, the ones where like a natural story is great. Like I don't watch sport movies, but if you get like you give me like The Replacements, Remember the Titans, Coach Carter, any of those ones, I'll be suddenly into whatever sport it is. I'm like, oh, football, yes, basketball. It's like I don't watch those sports ever. And you get a nice movie like that, it gets you wrapped up. And then at the end, they've got the whole like it's a true story, and you're like, oh, this guy died in 12 years later, or blah blah blah. It's like those movies are good, but it's like that Ford one might be interesting for that same concept.
You picked an easy example. You picked Coach Carter. Coach Carter, they just threw
I know
fucking
who doesn't like those movies.
they threw Samuel Jackson at that one. That I'm not even a fan of basketball, and I saw that. I was like, oh, Samuel Jackson in it, is you know it's going to be good because he doesn't like snakes on his plane.
Yeah, and Denzel Washington's in like Remember the Titans. It's like you got a powerful actor like that. It's like Gridiron Gang. That's also decent. Not a top there, but like those ones, like any sport movie, if you get like good cast, it's like, oh, these are the best. It's like you don't even care, and then afterwards you're like, I don't even know what I watched, but it was amazing.
Yeah, they didn't have any good characters in Zombie Strippers. They had all no-name actors.
Wasn't a true story.
I really hope that was not a true story because if that was a true story, that strip club needs to be burned down. And I don't know, just all those people need therapy because that
So you're saying
I
that's
need
a
therapy.
suggestion for a movie? That one would be.
If you really want to review a bad movie, I really recommend Zombie Strippers because that movie, I swear to God, is just like so many factors come into play in that one. There was one of the no-name actors that was really good, but he was only in a few legit scenes, and then the rest of it was like, all right, let's stop. Let's stop doing this, please.
What's your take on zombies? Do you prefer the slow ones or the sort of smarter, fast ones?
Oh, this brings up a good question. I usually ask people that do a zombie podcast. If I had to ask you what's your plan for the zombie apocalypse, what is it?
Yeah, I'm on two mindsets on this one. I have like the realistic one where I probably just kill myself to save the someone else doing it
Okay.
because I know I wouldn't. Like, that's what I mean. If they're slow zombies, I'd have a slight chance.
That's what I say. If you were going to have a plan for a zombie apocalypse, I usually listen to someone explain to me a full on, thorough ass plan for 30 to 45 minutes. Then they go, Then they go, that's what I do in the zombie apocalypse. And I'm like, you want to know how I'm about to shit on your plan? And they said, how? And I said, imagine if they're not the type of zombies you'd expect. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you're thinking Walking Dead zombies, right? They're like, yeah. I'm like, what happens if it's Left 4 Dead zombies, where you have people that are like zombies that are mutants? If you saw Zombieland 2, they have freaking
they
whatever.
jump the fence or whatever. They're like capable of doing
They
basic actions and
they
stuff like that.
evolved and shit. Like the dude went to go shoot him and he dodged a bullet like Neo from the Matrix. Like that's the whole reason Zombieland 2 was even really super popular. Was Zombieland 1 was so freaking good where people are like, "Oh, it's 10 years later. Oh my god, the amount of weight, you know what I mean, for a second one where they were like it's going to be good." Then you're watching it, you're like, yeah, it's only really good because they're still playing off like the first one a little bit. Like that's still why you watched it. It's why I liked it. It's like it
The
was a
fact that
good.
they're all alive 10 years later is still decent.
Yeah, and they're older too. Like they don't trying to hide it behind CGI or something. It's like, oh, this isn't just a month later or something. Like what makes The Walking Dead pretty good too. Not only the zombie aspect behind it, but I ended up stopping watching after like the fifth season because you can only go so far with zombies. But the reason why people stuck to it to the end was you saw the characters develop too, and you saw them change and form in so many different ways. And that's how you truly get to choose if something's really good or bad. Like when you get to see like somebody takes a different spin to it or maybe create something new because it seems like a lot of the movies nowadays like horror movies in general they're all like jump scares. They're all like, let me just scare the shit out of you by having something pop out of a closet and then you know you get killed.
The zombie stuff, though, from I don't know, you probably talked about this a billion times, but it's like I find I seem to think like zombie ones now have started from like the zombies chasing you, they're all fast or they're adaptable. Like there was one, I can't remember what it was, just a cured or something, and it was like one of them was like, oh, he's a mixture. He's still got human thoughts, and like he was controlling everything, and they couldn't kill him, and all this sort of stuff. But it's like a lot of them now, like The Walking Dead is like a prime example, I guess. It's like it went from the zombies, like that started at the beginning. There was one or two zombies that were like opening doors and jumping fences, and I think they quickly got rid of that because they're like, no, 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 we need them to be slow and dumb. But and then it starts focusing on the people a lot more. And then it's like zombie movies now are more about the gangs of survivors than that. It's like I feel like zombie movies are like the zombies are just an afterthought in these movies now. Like it's like, oh, there's a plague. Yep, okay, cool. We got past that part. They're just the background, and now it's just surviving each gang. They got it. Oh, our warehouse. Like the zombies are just there to speed the story on. Like we're at a warehouse. Oh, they broke in. Let's go to the. We're at the shopping mall now, and then it's like this gang's going to attack us. Half our group's dead. Blah blah blah. It's like I don't know. I feel like movie.
The zombie concept is never going to die. It's just too popular. But the idea, like,
Oh,
I,
I
I
get
am,
it.
I am Legend was a really good zombie movie because they did a different spin on it. They had one guy against a whole bunch of
Yes,
zombies. Then you
that
got
was a good one.
another good zombie movie that you can review. It was shit on by every single critic, but the reason why I even clicked on it in the first place was Danny Trejo was in it. So you're talking about the guy that does Machete. So I'm like, oh my,
Oh yeah,
this guy's just badass. Let me watch it. And then you click on it, you find out the zombies are insane. They get on a raft and everyone's like, we're gonna go to the water. They all get on the water and they're traveling on the water probably for like a good like 8 hours or something. It's around nighttime. The fucking zombies come up from out of the water. They walked on the bottom and got to them, and they
oh
kicked
yeah, because
everybody
they're
off
not going
the
to
raft.
drown.
Yeah,
What movie's that? Sounds good.
it came out the same time Zombie Strippers came out because they were side by side on demand, and I clicked Zombie Strippers like an idiot, and then afterwards I had to wash that out with another movie, and I clicked that one.
That sounds good. Yeah, that's a good concept. They don't do too often. I mean, it's like, but yeah, they can walk. They're not breathing or anything. Why don't they just pop out of the water? It's always like, we got on the boat. We're safe. It's like,
That's why
yeah,
with
you can think they can go straight under.
well, especially with your podcast too. Like you have to people are going to be tuning in that to whatever you make it unique, whether it's your voice, whether it's your aspect of how you come across movies as well. You have to make sure you develop that in there too. And you'll see progression from that rather than focusing on what everybody else is doing when it comes to their podcast. Like when it comes to, oh, he's reviewing bad movies like me, but he's doing it this way. Maybe I should get that. You don't know because that's not your style. What you'll find
Yeah.
out was when you're creating more episodes and you're starting to get more involved into it, you're going to find what your style is, and that's what's going to make it progress, and that's what's going to turn um, your podcast in general. It's going to turn into something that you're going to love and you're going to love doing, and people are going to love listening to. So you're going to turn the Creepy Crap podcast into the Creepy Crap podcast, but it's good.
Yeah, that's basic. My thing at this point, at least, like I said, like it's only early days, so it will develop over time. But it's mainly just my way of pointing out stuff that has annoyed me. That I'm like, you've made me watch the movie. Why didn't you include this? Like, it's like you can watch a lot of movies where you at the end it ends and you're like, is that it? And you're like, what happened? You know, when you just like, it doesn't have to be a horror movie, but it's like some movies you can watch and they end and you're like, where is the story? Like you're like, why did this happen? And it's like some people like, you know, it's not like Inception where it's like, oh, I get it. I get you. I get the different levels. You're like, you don't get it. You're just pretending you do, or something like that. It's like, no, there's no cleverness to it. It's just like they forgot the story or something like that. Like, is that something with your knowledge of movies? Like, is that a faux pas or whatever you call it? Like, why do some movies do that? Is that like, do you reckon they've just forgot the storyline, or they it's such a thin plot line or something that they've just thought that's enough? Like, is it lazy filming?
It is. I mean, it depends on how I guess they run with it. Sometimes it's a little bit on the end where it's like, all right, it works, I guess. But a lot of times it's like it loses the original aspect to it as well. Like when you're cooking a homemade meal or something, there's that with love from grandma in it. A lot of times films don't have that. A lot of times films like they're just shoveling something at us.
Yeah, it just seems like they smashed it out. They put it like they put a whole bunch of details at the beginning and all that stuff, but then a lot of them don't get picked up again. Like the movie I watched, it was like they had all these things at the beginning. Oh, there's it. They introduced us to these characters and then never showed them again. I was like, what was the purpose of that? Like, I feel like they were meant to get incorporated somewhere throughout the movie, and they never did. And then nothing was explained, and you just at the end, you're like, no, this was pointless.
You
You're
weren't
just terrorizing
satisfied.
someone, and it was it.
You weren't satisfied. That's what happens a lot. Seems like as
Yeah,
people, we're never satisfied with the end result.
yeah, exactly. It was like you didn't give me a movie happy ending, so I'm gonna get back at you by destroying you in my my podcast. That's what movies are gonna cop now. If I watch a movie that's bad, that's where it's going.
Well, I mean, that's a perfect way to wrap it. Might as well. Y- Don't make a shitty movie or Daniel will
That's
wrap
all, folks.
it. No, but I really do appreciate you coming out and doing the podcast too. I know we had some scheduling mishaps and stuff, but it was awesome getting you on.
Yeah, my team just couldn't work a time for you.
Yeah, yeah. Couldn't pencil me in the schedule.
See, I feel like I was more nervous asking you questions than I was on here. I was a lot quieter than I actually was planning.
You were planning to talk more.
No, I think it's just you got to take a little while to warm up, but it's good. I like this.
It's like the
It was
heated seats in the theaters that they have. Takes a little while to warm up.
I can't wait to look around the movie theater now and just see if anyone ever does that review out loud like you're talking about. That'd be something I'd just be like,
This son
oh
of
my
a
God,
bitch. This
this
sometimes
is
they have
real.
sometimes they have really good points. If you want to look up a good video on it, look up Key and Peele. They do a movie review thing where there's like a little comedy skit. And they're sitting in the movies and the guy's like talking shit on the movie. And the one person, the audience member goes, he's making really good points. Like, I really like his structure. And then the guy joins in at the ending and goes, yeah, how about this guy's acting? Like, we need another Ben Affleck. Am I right, guys? And he turns around, and the guys that were talking the whole movie point to the guy like, it was him. Get him out of here. Like, he's talking during the movie. It's funny, but I do want to give you here a minute at the end to kind of promote your content too, so people can find your work.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Basically, I've got if you want the barbecue account, it's the Cragg's Creations. That's just food and that sort of stuff. And yeah, the Creepy Crap podcast is what it's called, and that's my other account. And that's where my podcast, which will be early days at this point, but will be eventually have some more structure to it and get some more episodes. So if anyone wants to listen to me rip into movies, that's where you can find that.
Or you want to listen to him review cereals, and I swear to God, better not bring anything up about Honey Smacks.
I got to take a photo of rice bubbles and send them to you so you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, explosions of people cultivating rice. Wonderful.
So many uses for one grain.
Well, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Out of the Blank podcast. So stay tuned for our next episode.